Morning. What's up, everybody? Thursday morning. 79 degrees outside. 11:24. Thursday here in California. How's everybody doing? Got to run some errands today. Somebody's here. Who's here? Hello. Good morning. Don't forget to hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. How's everybody doing? I'll read the chat afterwards. Welcome, everybody. Ooh, avocados. 20 for $5. Who doesn't like avocados, huh? Good. Let's see, so who's in here? J&G, what's up, man? What's up? Running some errands today. Then I gotta go put gas. See how much gas went up or down. Sunday was at $5.35 a gallon. Let's see how it is. Yeah, nice day today. Not too bad. Summer's not here that I thought it was. Monday, Tuesday was in the 90s. Today is in the 70s. It's already 11:26, so it's probably just going to be in the 80s if we get lucky. Then at least we won't get hot days yet. Gotta save on some of that electricity. Yep. Yeah. How's everybody doing? I'm gonna have to empty out my phone again, man. It's full of videos again. Memory full. You know how your phone will not work if you do not start paying for more memory. They always want to get you. Put out more money. So, go check out some of those other channels. J&G, AAP, Iron Dog, My Animal House, Kirkwood, Spider Mom. I have a list of them in my channel list. Just go take a look. I got all kinds of different kind of channels, fishing channels, magnet fishing channels, channels with people that got spiders, people that got insects, isopods, reptiles. People got snakes. Go check out keys, constrictors. A lot of good channels there. I got that family and friends list. Go check that one out. Spider Mom, she needs hours. She's already reached her over 1,000. Now she just needs hours. But she's been kind of busy. I haven't seen her a lot this time because she went back to school. She's studying. I'm gonna try to just getting for therapy to give people, massage therapy. People get injured, and stuff like that, or people have strokes, you know. And I kind of like my wife, she had a stroke last year. The only good thing of the whole situation is everything works except she can't see. That's she can still get around. She can walk, talk. Everything's fine. Eat. Some people get a stroke and then they can't eat. My brother-in-law, that's what happened to him, and the whole side was paralyzed, and he couldn't walk. He could barely talk, and eating was a problem. They ended up putting a feeding tube on him, and yeah, that feeding tube. He hated that, and he was young. He was my age. I think he was like a couple years older than me. He died a while back. He died in his 50s because he just I guess he gave up. I don't know. It's hard. Everything you eat liquefied, and then to top it off, it's through your stomach. On your stomach there's a tube. You don't get to taste anything, any food. So that's a terrible life. You know. Yeah. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Let's see who we got in here. Let's see. J and G, Bud, Roy, and Becky. Hey, hey, hey. What's up? What's up? Howdy, howdy, howdy. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, how's everybody going? Let's see, who else in here? Hey, Roy and Becky, what's up?
Still in Arizona? Yeah. Those gas prices, man, keep going up. Yep. Yep. Hopefully everybody's doing good. Everybody, don't forget to hit the like button, share out the live. Oh, this semi backing up. What's he doing? What's he doing? We're trying to get into this alley here. Yep. So it's a nice day today. 79, 11:36. Got to see what came in the mail. See if anything good. See, such a nice day. Even people got their convertible tops down. Oh yeah. You always see a convertible. What do you see? You see an old guy with a young girl in the other seat. It's like it's funny because I remember my wife. She would she would always color her hair. Different colors. Like a light brown. And one time she really went blonde, really blonde. And my sister-in-law, she's always trying to like, because nobody has a perfect marriage, but she's like, I guess she was kind of jealous of her sister because I mean, I never fooled around, and I haven't never fooled around in my life. It's not worth it. Why? If you think you're gonna get away with it, you're not gonna get away with it. Everybody gets caught. There's no such thing as yeah, you're fooling around, and the other woman's not gonna say anything. After a while, wants more, and she wants to ruin your marriage. So she wants to take you away because she thinks it's a good thing. But come on, if you're dating a guy that's fooling around, you think he's not gonna do the same thing with you. That's so stupid. That's what happens sometimes. So my wife, she went all real blonde, and then one time I was, we went for a drive, and I saw my sister-in-law. She was in another vehicle, so she looked and she saw, and she's like, oh my god, I knew it. I'm like, oh look, I even told my wife, look, your sister saw a blonde in the car and thinks it's not you because she hasn't seen your hair color. Yeah, so she's all like, and then all of a sudden, because I get a phone call, my wife gets a phone call from my sister-in-law, and I told her like, oh, you know what it's for? She's gonna try to stir up trouble. I mean, and she's family. I mean, I understand. I mean, because my brother-in-law, he was always fooling around on her. I mean, he had kids with some other woman. And she allowed it. But she tried to say, oh no, everything's fine in my house. And it was funny because one time he called us. Had his daughter call us. Oh yeah, because I guess he was looking for her, and he couldn't find her. And then all like, yeah, is she there? I'm like, no, she's not here. And then he thought he hung up, but he didn't hang up, so I could hear what he was saying. He was yelling at his daughter, hey, where is she? And all this, I mean, you never know what's happening behind closed doors. Everything could be, hunky dory. There's always abuse. If it's not being hit or beaten, it's verbal abuse. Even that's bad too. I mean, people have to just work. There is no such thing as a perfect marriage. You have to work at it. And if anybody tells you that they have a perfect marriage, they're living in Disneyland. Because there is no such thing as a perfect marriage. There's always arguments, but as long as it's just an argument, and then end up separating. Then they get the children involved, and then they get the children against each other. Yeah, your mom is this, and then she's, yeah, your dad is this. I mean, come on. Why? Then the kids, they're not stupid. They're like, hey, we're gonna get double Christmases, double birthday gifts, and they're gonna start doing bad in school just use the excuse, my parents are separated, everything goes to shit, as they say. But yeah, I mean, you have to work at your marriage, I mean, I've known my wife. I've known her since she's this year. She's gonna be 58. I'm gonna be 61, and I've known her since she was 16, 15, 16. And we separated for a bit, and I went, I moved far away. It wasn't that we, it's just that I moved to go, follow my parents, my mom and my dad, and then I would still keep in touch. I would write her letters, call her on the phone always, and she'd always be getting mad. You're gonna find somebody else, and this and that. I'm like, no, I'm not. And then I would take vacation. I would get 2 weeks off or 1 week off, and every year I would come visit, my mom's family, and then I would see her, but then she'd always argue with me and this and that, and then also before all this, she like took off. She wasn't happy at home. She wanted me to take her out of the house. I'm like, no, I don't have anything. We're gonna live in the streets. You know how they say, we're gonna love each other. We're gonna survive. We'll live in a car. Yeah. No, it doesn't work. I think if we would have gotten together like that and suffered more, we would have never been together. I think as long as we are. So I think in my thinking, I think it was better. So I went away, and then but I kept in touch, and then she, for a time, she got married. She had one child. Well, she didn't get married to the guy that she had the child with. So she got married to some other guy, and he was nothing but trouble. He was getting locked up in jail all the time, and then she even gave him an ultimatum and asked him, said, hey, well, is it me or jail? He did his choice. He picked jail. So she ended up divorcing him, because he doesn't have to be there to get a divorce. All you have to do is put an ad in the newspaper saying, what you're going to do. And if there's no answer, to the ad, any family members that are opposing it, and then there's a court date. If he doesn't appear, pretty much it's, of course, not going to appear. He's locked up in jail. So it was an easy divorce. So it's like, they divorced, separated, and then we got together again. And I always kept in touch. I always told her, hey, I want to marry you. And she, you're not gonna marry me. You're not gonna marry me. I asked her mom, hey, I want to marry your daughter. And it was so funny because she's all like, she speaks Spanish. She don't speak no English. And then she's all, well, and it tells me in Spanish, and she goes, if you want to suffer, go right ahead, marry her. Like, hey, it's gonna be your problem now. But I mean, we got together. My oldest son, he was like, at the time, I believe he was about like 6 years old, 7 years old, and he grew. I pretty much raised him, and now I'm his dad pretty much. His real dad. He still visits. I mean, talks to him, I guess. But I mean, we used to call him Santa Claus because he would only come once a year, if and back. If we were lucky, he would come once a year. So and then I told his dad, I go, you need to visit him. I have no problem with you coming over, visit. You can even stay. You can sleep on the couch. And spend some time with your son. When he's little. Because you can't keep lying to him. Telling him, oh, yeah, I'm gonna go there, mijo. I'm gonna go visit you, and it never happens. And then he had to pay child support every year. We used to get a check from the IR, because they would take his IRS, check. And, he hated that because we'd take his money, but hey, it was going to his son, and then he had other kids with another lady. We went to court, and he tried to tell the judge, oh, well, I have another family, this and that. And the judge goes, no, he's your firstborn, so he gets more credit. That's the way it works in the courts. The firstborn is the one that gets the most credit. And now if you have other kids with other family, well, hey. And then he was never married to the other woman either. And he had kids with her. And they're like, well, she's working, she has to support the kids too, so yeah, he was trying to get away with it, like play the sad story. Look, he even brought the kids to court, and the judge says, you know what, your wife and your kids need to step out of the court. This doesn't involve them because, they're no relationship, it's just, she's not even married. And then the fact was she wasn't even married, not even married to her. So it's like, no, get out of the court, And then the thing is, the judge said, you have to pay insurance for him and stuff like that, but he didn't want to. so when you don't pay insurance for your kids, you can get your own insurance and put them on your insurance. It'll be cheaper for you because then they don't take that much out of child support. But he chose not to. He's all like, I ain't gonna put him on my insurance, this and that. So it's all like, okay. So he had Medi-Cal has to take care of it. So then they're gonna take more money from him. And then he would always lie. He would always lie that he wasn't working. But then, then my wife got him in trouble. She like, hey, reported him. Hey, he's working, getting cash money. He's not getting paid a check. So he's trying to hide. He only did it for a bit. Then started getting, because the boss, he started garnishing his checks. You know, they'll get you one way or the other. But yeah, so he would visit once in a while, and then one time he came over. He did stay with his kid, and then one time when we would go visit that way, so he could visit his other grandma, and then the dad, oh well, you can take him, for 2 days, for a day, a full day. You can return the next day because we're gonna stick around. He didn't even last a couple of hours, because he doesn't know how to take care of kids. The wives or the girlfriends take care of the kids. He just gives them money or whatever. That's about it. I mean, my son, he was always getting nosebleeds, because he was asthmatic, and then he would, his nose would get like dried up, so he would get nosebleeds, and then we showed him how to take care of himself, and he's all like, oh, he's getting it. Well, just tell him that, he knows what to do. So he's all like, oh, I need to take him back because I have things to do. Well, yeah, of course, he had to go drinking with his buddies. He still thought he was a bachelor. He has all these kids with other women, and he thinks he's a bachelor. He doesn't have, no responsibility. But I even told him, I go, you're not, you don't care about your kid. When your kid grows up, later on he's gonna resent it. He's not gonna wanna do anything with you, and then you're gonna be want to be in his life, And then when he graduated high school, he would always, talking about his son, oh yeah, trying to, saying, yeah, I got this son, he graduated high school, then now he's going to university, and then he got another girlfriend, and then I think he did marry her, and I think all her kids were already grown up and out of the house. She was an older woman, and so it's like he came to she wanted to say, well, you're talking about your kid, supposedly this kid that you have, but yet you don't ever visit him. So he was in high school at the time, and then he came and visited her, and then he's all like, can we take him? Because we're gonna have a family reunion, and then he's all like, I wanna, so we can meet all his other cousins and this and that. So we said, okay, well, we told him, you better take care of him. Yeah, we told him, you better take care of him, not don't don't just let him. You gotta be responsible. You're the adult. Let's see. Hey, Georgina. Hey, exotics. Benny exotics. On live feeding. What's up? Yeah. So then so he's all like, oh well, let me take him. Let me take him. I'll take care of this and that. Well, he does take him, but then he starts drinking, and then he ends up because his grandma was there, and then some other lady was there, and it's like all of a sudden, then he gets home, and then we're like, who brought you home? And it was he was in high school, and then it's like who brought you home? Oh, my grandma and some lady. And then the funny thing is, the funny thing is, he's all
She's all, yeah, they brought me home. And the thing is, the lady, and everybody that was with them, they had been drinking and stuff. They weren't even being responsible. They weren't being responsible of the situation.
Entonces, no, dice que a él no le gusta echarse compromiso porque si le hablan de otro y él no sabe.
That person doesn't. I've been getting mail from. I don't know why.
Lately for them?
Yeah. So
Is that but is that your number?
that's my
Okay.
box, but not that person doesn't live anywhere there.
No.
Yeah. So I don't know why he's been getting. I guess he needs a.
No, maybe most likely there's an incomplete address and it's just showing your box number.
Maybe
But they don't
you know
have
what?
access to it.
I know. Maybe
PMBs.
maybe it's the one like those. Yeah, PMBs.
And
Yeah.
there's a lot of them. So
Yeah.
just give us back and
Okay.
Thank
Alrighty.
you, sir.
Alrighty.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Sí, usted también será nada de eso, que ya que
Yeah.
ellos
So
pusieran eso,
he he's been getting so he gets home, and I'm like, hey, so who brought you home? Oh, my grandma and some lady. And the thing is, he starts telling us the story of what happened. They came across like the border, and then all of a sudden he says that they stopped for gas, and then the lady just like that was driving, because the grandma, she don't know how to drive. So the lady, the grandma, she was a passenger, and then the one that was driving the vehicle, she wasn't even supposed to be driving. I mean, come on, she had been drinking. So then she goes, my son goes, oh yeah, she drove into a gas station right after we crossed the border, and then she just sat in the back and said, she asked my son, and he doesn't even have a driver license, and she asked my son, oh, do you know how to drive? And my son, oh yeah. He's all like, okay. So then she's all like, you drive, I'm not driving anymore. So he gets into the driver, and then decides to drive. And he was driving, and this luckily this was at nighttime. I mean, hardly any traffic. But then there's a loop. There's like a loop, when you go from one highway to another highway or freeway. And he's never driven before. This is the first time. He's never even gotten behind the wheel of a vehicle. So, I mean, he played video games, but that's still not the same. San Andreas, yeah, you're driving a car. It's not the same in a real car. You're gonna kill somebody. So he's going around this and those, you can take it at about 30 miles an hour. So he's like going like really like, whoa, it's like even the lady woke up and was sitting in the back seat. It's like, oh my God, she's like, what the heck? What are you doing? You're trying to kill us. Well, yeah. he doesn't know how to drive. You know, you give a teenager keys and tell him to drive, and car's gonna tell you, oh yeah, I know how to drive. He's all like, yeah, I gotta get my chance to drive. But yeah, I mean, he made it home safely. But he was like, oh, that woke him up, man. That lady woke up. She had to end up still driving home, you know. But yeah, she was like, woke her up real quick. You know, so it was funny that you know, that's all responsible. So you know, my wife was all pissed off. She's like, oh man, that's it. You know, never again. Is he gonna be able to see his son by, you know, just like that? And then, you know, we even, you know, his new wife, you know, we even told her, you know, no, you know what? Never again, you know, because he wasn't responsible enough to bring him home safely, you know, even though he did get home safely. But man, it could have ended worse, you know. He could have flipped the car over and killed everybody in the car, you know. And I'm like, you know, that's not being a responsible parent, because he's never been a responsible parent. I mean, he basically relied on the girlfriends or the wives to take care of their kids. He never took care of them. Some people now be flying, but they want to. Their horn can stop them. It's like people are that way. But yeah, so he just you know, he wasn't being responsible. You told him that's it, you know. And then when he was graduating from the university, you know, he was talking to my son, you know, my wife, of course, you know, found out, and you know, she was kind of upset. But yeah, I told her, he's still his father, you know, because we never did talk bad about him. We never said, you know, oh, he's you know, no good and this and that. I mean, we said, you know, he's gonna find out on his own, and he did. I mean, he found out as an adult, you know, how his father was irresponsible. He didn't care. The only reason he would talk to him was because, you know, he wanted to make himself look good. Like, oh, look at my son. You know, he graduated from high school. He graduated from university. You know, he has a degree. You know, that's what he did. You know, and you know, that's fine. You know, you can all you want. But my wife, and then when my son was going to get married, you know, it was like my son asked my wife, you know, my dad, my real dad, you know, well, even though he considered me his real dad, but he, you know, his biological dad, you know, wanted to come to the wedding, and my wife, you know, was all like, you know, at first she was like, no, this and that. And then I told her, I go, you know, you have to, you know, it's your son, our son's wedding. You know, he can invite whoever he wants. You know, we don't have to. You know, they can do whatever he can do whatever he wants. But I think in the end, I don't know if he did. You know, it was a pretty big wedding. You know, we didn't really meet every single person that was at the wedding. You know, who knows if he did show up? I wasn't really looking for him. So, but you know, we enjoyed ourselves. We had a good time. My wife had a good time. Saw her oldest son, you know, get married, and he's still married now. You know, we have a grandchild. He turned 2 years old in February. You know, and it was all in this pandemic. You know, all this stuff that was going around. You know, he was right before the big, you know, so we couldn't really even visit him. You know, after he was born, all we did is have pictures, videos, you know, just pictures and videos of our grandchild, our first grandchild. And then we did go visit. We went and visited. We've seen them 2 times over there. They live in the LA area, and we went to go visit him. And he came to visit, a couple times. But now, then everything, started getting worse. And my son, he works in hospitals. He's the union rep for the nurses. And then his wife works also in hospitals. So they're in that field, where they get more in contact with. So then he's been working out of the house, which is a good thing because he gets to babysit and take care of his kid. Spend more time with his son as he grows up. And stuff like that. But his wife, she's a nurse. She has to go to work, and of course she has to take precautions. But even when you take precautions, all it takes is just one little slip. They say masks don't work, but they do at a point. The way I see it, if you're wearing a mask, it keeps you from putting your hands in your mouth and in your nose. As long as you keep it on all the time, and then wash your hands real good. Disinfect your whole hands, everything. When you get home, you can use the antibacteria and stuff, but you still have to take care of yourself, and then also don't go out to eat. We stopped going out to eat when it all started. And then ever since my wife, she had the stroke, it's like, what, she can't see, and then she was barely learning how to walk without being able to see, with a walker. She had therapy, therapists would come by, help her exercise, and she was already losing weight, and it was good because it helped her because that way she was more be able to stand on her own. Her balance was much better. Because she lost, she's under 200 pounds now. She was over 300. So, she was already losing the weight before even the stroke, but then the stroke happened, and then the thing is, she had already, the doctor said that she had already had another stroke before, but we never noticed it. They're like, well, don't you notice her face is her smile is crooked? I'm like, she's always had that crooked smile. You can look at pictures because I think when she was younger, she fell and then she broke a couple of her teeth in the front, so she has fake teeth in the front. So then she's always had that crooked smile, and then she never the thing is the stroke didn't affect her speech. See, that's why. You think, well, stroke is gonna affect your speech. Well, for her, it didn't affect her speech because even when she had the last stroke and then she lost her eyesight, because she had already lost her eyesight from one eye, and she was driving. The thing is, she was driving with one eye only all this time, and she never told us, how bad it was getting. Till one day she went to go pick up my son from the university, and then she gets there to pick him up, and then she tells my son, where's the road, because she got lost. She lived in this town all her life, she knows where everything's at, but it was dark and she couldn't distinguish exactly, all the streets were looking the same to her. She was getting frustrated, going around and around in circles, trying to see where she was at. And she's one of those women, she's not gonna tell you that she has a problem. It's just like her grandma. Her grandma was in her 90s, and she never used a cane or a walker.
she never used hearing aids, and she lost her hearing because you would talk to her on one side, and she would just shake her head. She started learning how, I guess, how to read lips, and she never lost her sight. She had cataract surgeries, and her sight even improved. But I mean, and she died almost at 100 years old. But I mean, she was those kind of women, that aren't gonna say, because her grandma was like, oh no, if I get hearing aids, that's gonna make me old. She wasn't gonna let people call her old, And then she was, back in the day, she was like a midwife. She gave birth to kids from the neighborhood. She used to be the nurse of the neighborhood, giving people, injections. In Mexico, there's a lot of people that do that. They learn, because I mean, she was, from the old time, and so she was always, when people got sick, she'd be the one taking care of. I mean, she's like in her 70s, and she's cleaning the house and stuff, disinfecting and stuff. She was short. She's like she was only like 5 feet tall, and she had a husband that was like really, really tall, and then I guess she got tired of him because he was being abusive. And he, in the house that they had, he was real. The arches were really, really, really low. The arches for the house, so he would have to bend over to get underneath the arches. So one day, he comes in, he starts yelling at her. She got tired of it, and then I guess that she grabbed the chair. She grabbed the chair and broke it on his back when he was bending over to get underneath the arch. And then she said, "You're never ever gonna ever do that." And she got rid of him. They separated, but nobody, they would always say, like, oh, grandpa's not here. He's working. It was back in the day. You never got divorced, never. And then if you were separated, it's because he was working. And somewhere else, and I remember also my cousin, one of my cousins, her dad, he moved away, and he would visit every so often, and he would send money. They were separated, and he had other women too. And then the sad part was that he ended up committing suicide. And he, because his life, he ended up having a lonely life, no family, and it was Christmas time, I guess, and he, so I guess he started thinking about all the bad things he did and stuff. So he even left a note, he cleaned his apartment, folded all his clothes, everything was all nice and neat, so, and he had a revolver, and he blew his brains out. I mean, sad, but that's the life he chose. But that's. But the kids. My aunt, she grew. Raised all the kids. She did a great job. One of them is a doctor. I mean, he's a medical doctor. He put him through school. I mean, she used to do all kinds of she worked, take care of the kids. She used to take in people, like she used to do a lot of sewing. She was very good at sewing because my grandma taught, she was gifted in that. And I guess that was both of my aunts, they were gifted in that. And then my grandfather, on my dad's side, he was very, very handy. He could build anything. My dad was that way too. My older brother, he was very handy. He could build houses and stuff like that. Now my brother has his own company too, and so you just have to raise your kids, together or apart, But yeah, it's not easy, family. You have to work at it, and the argument, the main argument it's always about money. It's you're either spending too much, or like, oh well, like my brother, he always, that was the argument too, he would buy tools for his company, and then his wife, oh well, you spend much, I'm gonna spend this much, instead of saving, you don't need couches every year, new couches, because all the old couches they're old. They're not even old, they're only a year. Come on, internet. Tell my brother, you're gonna raise your kids to think, oh, all this expensive stuff, then when you, because he ended up losing his house, with the crash of all the housing and stuff, and he was in construction, and at that time, nobody was spending any money on repairs of the house, nobody was doing any construction, housing stopped, nobody was building. Yeah, just get into my lane. Don't even. This guy to turn. Yeah, so it's like, if you raise your kids, if you have a lot of money, you got a lot of money to give your kids. Well, give them everything. But hey. Look at a lot of people lost their jobs this last couple of years. People lost their businesses. Everybody thought they had. I know a lot of people lost their houses. Because they had regular these jobs. They were getting $25, $30 an hour. And then all of a sudden they lost their job because it was cutbacks or anything like that, and then what happens? You have to go look for a part-time job, and minimum wage is only like $7 an hour. And you're used to making $30 an hour, paying all the expensive cars, giant house. That's the thing. The way I always looked at things, it's sometimes you have to live that way, where hey, you have to look at everything you spend, but my kids always had clothes, always had shoes. We always got them everything they needed for school. In fact, I remember, because we always drove a new vehicle, but we're paying them. We're paying monthly payments on the vehicles. We didn't pay cash for them. But I remember we used to take them to school, and then the other kids, because the school, they required, that they need a calculator. He needs a calculator, for this class, math class. So, my sister, she would help out sometimes. Hey, you know what? She goes, I'll give him for his birthday, or for, the calculator, because she was making, good money. She was a school teacher, and she wasn't married at the time, but so she could afford the $80 calculator, $60 calculator, because those things are expensive, for like calculus and stuff, the graphic calculators, man. And so the thing, we would drop them off, and we'd be dropping them off at different vehicles, and the other kids would tell my son, and like, hey, what are they? Are they? Do they sell? No. They're like, no, because I work full time in a full-time job. My wife was working full time. Basically, what I'm making by myself right now. This was back in the '80s, you know, what me and my wife were making together combined back in the '80s is what I'm making by myself now in 2022. You know, which, you know, and everything was expensive. I mean, when we were, you know, we would buy food when it was on special. You know, we would buy food when it was on special. You know, and put it in the freezer. You know, but you know now you know we still stuff on special, but then we don't like spend a bunch of money. You know, this lady crossing the street where you're not supposed to. Come on. Yeah, so you know, it's like you have to, you know, sometimes you can't afford, but you know, we always try to give our kids every anything that they needed to for school and all that, you know. And you know, they got presents for Christmas and for their birthdays, you know. And but you know, the thing is, you know, kids are always, you know, oh man, you know, what do you know, even at work, you know, because you know, everybody at work, hey, you know, because then the thing is, I was when I was working up north, you know, I up in San Jose area, I was making like back in the '80s, I was making like $9 an hour, you know, $10 an hour. So you know, when I moved down this way, minimum wage was only $6 an hour. So when and then the thing is, I quit my job over there. You know how they say that you can't collect unemployment when you quit a job. It's not necessarily, because I quit my job and I still got unemployment. Because I went to the unemployment office, you know, and they're like, I go, I don't think I qualify for unemployment because I quit my job. And they go, what was the reason? What was the reason you quit? And I said, well, the reason I quit was because my wife was living over here, so I had to move this way where she lived. You know, it was either going to be her or me, but she didn't want to move, so I ended up moving, coming over here to live where she lived. And I said, oh no, you can because you know, it's that's considered, you know, that you can collect unemployment for that reason. So I was collecting unemployment. I was working full time and collecting unemployment. And then I asked, you know, because I mean, I was getting every 2 weeks, I was getting about $160 something plus my full time job, you know, which wasn't very much back then. So they basically, they were compensating the $9 an hour. So basically, I was making $9 an hour still, you know. So I told you know, and I was doing this, you know, and then I go, well, how long can I get this? And they said, well, as long as you don't make over the amount that you were getting before, you know, you'll continue getting unemployment. And I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm like, hey. So I mean, I would do my sheet, you know, for, you know how you got to do your unemployment sheet, you know, where you write on there that you're still looking for work, and I would put on there, you know, working full time, you know, still working full time, and then I would put the amount of money I would make. So then that they would, you know, pay the difference, you know, pay the difference of what I was making, you know. Let's see who's in here. Yeah, here at the gas station, you can see how much gas has gone up. Let's see who's in here. Who was in here? Yeah, Kimberly was in here. Life Feedings, J&G, James, Guy, hey, thank you for coming in. Welcome.
Andrew. What's up? What's up, everybody? Yeah, so then I ended up coming this, where she lived, and I used to work for Kragen's for a lot of years, went all the way up to making like $10 an hour, being management. But the thing is, you have to just, raise your kids, best you can. Work at your marriage. I mean, it's never perfect. You know, the thing is, and then how always, like, oh, like they get mad at you, and then they get out of here, I hate you, get out of the house, I don't want you here no more. And it's like, if you leave, then they're gonna say, like, that you don't want to be together anymore. So I would never leave. I never left. I mean, maybe I left for a while, like go drive somewhere, just cool down, let her cool down, then come back, and then, it's always, I would never, I would let her let loose and stuff. I mean, even when I used to work at Kragen's, management, you'd get angry customers yelling at you, calling you names, F this, F that, your piece of crap part, it's not working. I'm like, well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I didn't make the part, but it is guaranteed. It has a warranty. It's lifetime warranty. Here's a brand new free part. Look them up in the computer. Yeah, you have a warranty, or if they have their paperwork with them. But then you get some customers. No matter what you do, you can't please them. So all right, you're, then they want the buy. Because you're not you're not big enough for them. You want the person up the higher level. I go, well, the manager will be in the morning tomorrow, and you can come and talk to him. Well, I need to talk to somebody now. Okay, well, the district manager, you give them their phone, Well, there was always a phone, the district manager, go talk to the district manager, and tell them, this and that, And of course, district manager is going to only do as much as they can do, Give them a store credit, so, we don't ever lose, because you make the customer happy. That was always the way they taught us at work. It was, you make the customer happy, because that he's a return. He's going to be a return customer. I mean, the part didn't cost us that much. That $10 that we gave away. Now he's gonna tell everybody else. He's gonna tell his friends. He's gonna tell everybody else that he the experience that he had, with the company. And of course he's gonna say, hey, go to Kragen's, they take care of you there. Because I mean, it's like they would train us and say, that's free advertisement. The best advertisement for your company is good customer service. You take care of your customers, even like the reptile people. Billy from Mutation Creation. He always he always says that, and it's so true. You take care of your customer, he's gonna come back, buy other snakes from you. You might have lost a little bit of money, but in the long run, you're gonna make all that money. Plus, he's gonna tell other people his experience, and he's gonna and they're gonna come and buy something from him too. That's the way it is. You take care of your customers. In any business, it's like that saying, the customer's always right. Well, he's not always right, but you can do as much as you can. I mean, there's always that one customer that no matter what you do, they're never going to be happy. They pretty much want everything for free. I mean, we had one of those customers when I used to work for Firestone. There was this customer, he had already been to all, Winston Tires, Sears, all these other companies, and he did the same thing. And then they got tired of him and then just said, you know what, that's it. We're not giving you any more free shit. Sorry, sir, but we don't need your business. I mean, you get free stuff when you deserve free stuff. But when you're in for it just to get free stuff, that's, they get tired of you and send you on your way. So we were kind of the last, with Firestone. And so this guy comes in, and he's already been to other Firestones. So he comes in with these coupons, for 3 free tires, so he's going to get three tires. And then, he goes, I need some tires for my vehicle, and then he comes in, and he starts, we had other customers, and then he's like, trying to bully people and start, you're taking too long. It's like, you have to wait your turn. And, and he starts, start cussing and saying all these things, and it's like, sir, you have to wait your turn. So then, and then he has these coupons, and then he starts yelling and this and that. And then we tell him, okay, well, this is how much it's going to cost you. No. I want all 4 tires for free. And it's like, you only have a coupon for 3 free tires. Well, your guys are being disrespectful, and you're discriminating against me and this and that. And then we're like, no, we're not, sir. Well, I'm going to call the police and all this. So he calls the police, gets the police involved. Then the police show up. And then before that, I want to talk to the manager, and then the manager's right there, It was this old guy, he's in his 60s, and he don't put up with any kind of shit. He don't put up with any kind of stuff, so he's all like yeah, well, this that, you know what, sir, you need to leave, he told him. And then he's all like, oh, well, I'm not leaving and this and that, and he said, I'm going to call the police. And so he calls the police, so the police gets involved. And then the police show up, and hold on, everybody.
Gotta go put gas. I'll be right back. Don't go away. All those people in here, don't go away. I'll be right back. Alrighty.
Yeah, gas is $5.35. Yeah, so what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so then this customer, you know, he comes in, you know, he wants basically he wants everything for free. So then he starts he calls the police. So the police show up, and then they go, "What's going on?" Well, you know, this customer, he's over here, he's cussing, you know, and this lady was there, her kid was there. He's, you know, using bad language and stuff like that, and you know, he's being disrespectful, you know, and he's saying that that we're discriminating against this and that. Well, we want them removed because you know, you don't have to deal with people like that. You know, they, like the cop told him, he goes, you know, they reserve the right to take care of you. You know, if they don't want to deal with you, they just tell you to leave their establishment. You know, it's a business. You know, they don't have to put up with you. Even in the hospitals, they do the same thing. You know, unless you're dying, they have to take care of you. But if you're not dying, they'll kick you out. I've seen it done before. I've worked security in hospitals, and they've done that. You know, it's like you don't want to abide by the rules. That you need to leave. But yeah, so this guy, you know, he calls the cops. So then he leaves. You know, and we knew what was going to happen. You know, he's going to call the complaint department. You know, he's going to call the complaint department and then tell, you know, that so we get a phone call, you know. We get a phone call from the complaint department, and then the guy that was taking care of it, he goes, yeah. He was the second from the managers. You know, he was the assistant manager. And then he starts talking to him on the phone, and then he's all, well, this customer says you guys were rude and this and that. And we're like, no, we weren't. I mean, you know, there was witnesses here. I mean, there was, because they ended up doing a police report, and then they you know, we told him, you know, if he was coming back, we were gonna you know, call the police on him and, you know, get rid of him for trespassing. You know, he caused it on his own. So then you know, they talked to us, and then we told them, you know, this guy, what do you want? Do you want us to open up the register and then just, you know, open up the register and tell the customer, here, you can have whatever you want out of the register? Because that's pretty much what the guy wanted. You know, this customer he wasn't being reasonable. So then they go, okay, all right, okay, we understand. So I guess they talked to the customer and told him, no, you know, there's a police report and this and that, you know. If you still want to do business with us, this is what's going to happen. You know, you're going to use your coupons, and that's it. You know, you need to pay for the whatever else. So then you know, so he all of a sudden he comes the next day, all Mr. Nice Guy, you know, talking to us all nice and neat. You know, he wasn't yelling or screaming. You know, big difference. You know, it's like he knew. You know, everybody, you know, we were his last place to get tires serviced, because, you know, he already burned all his bridges, other businesses. So yeah, then you know, we told him all this, how much it is. You know, he ended up paying for one tire, you know, balancing, valve stem and all that, and he got the other 3 tires for free. Yeah, I mean, you know, you just have to take care of your customers, though, the good ones. You know, you'll always get that one one bad apple. You know, you can only do so much for them. And you know, this guy, you know, he found out that hey, that's what's gonna happen. You're not gonna get everything, you know, for free. You know, I mean, he was taking advantage basically. You know, and like that other customer I was saying, you know, he just hands you his keys and hey, you know, whatever, you know, his wife's car, you know, she drove this old station wagon, and you know, he's all like, take care of it, you know, because she drives it, you know, check it out, you know, top to bottom, anything it needs, you know. He had a credit card, you know, Firestone credit card, you know, he had like $1,000 limit, or it was even more than that, I think, and you know. So we would, you know, well, you know, this, I would still call him, you know, and you know what, when was the last time you replaced this? If it hadn't been replaced, you know, always recommend. That's the way we were taught in Firestone. You never tell them, oh, you need this, because then you get in trouble, because then the government, you know, when the inspectors come in and you say you need it, you couldn't say that. That was one of those words you couldn't use. It was bad for business. You had to say recommend, you know, well, you know, there's the recommendations, you know, you need, we recommend you replace the filter, recommend you replace the valves, you know, because of the mileage, you know, or, you know, when was the last time you did your transmission service? When was the last time you did your oil change? You know, oil changes, you know, back in the day, it was every 3,000 miles. Now it's every 5,000. Oh, but Toyota, they every 10,000 you can with their oil. Yeah, right. That's why the car says every 5,000. The light comes on. You know how you buy a new car and they go, oh, you know, you get five free oil changes. No, you don't get 5 free oil changes. You get 3 free oil changes, 2 inspections. They inspect it. If it needs it, they'll replace it, but they don't. But yet, when you're paying for it, oh, you need to get it every 5,000. But when it's free, oh no, it was fine. You don't need to replace it. I mean, I remember going to the dealership, Toyota, and then they're all like, oh look, they would get the dipstick out of the transmission, and they would put a little bit of fluid in a. They had like a little tray where you could put a little bit of transmission fluid in there, so you can see the color of the transmission fluid. And they say, see, when your transmission fluid, you know, and this is a almost like a trick. You know, they all use it to sell you a transmission service. You know, flush. You got to flush out the system, because the thing is, you can put brand new transmission fluid, and it's going to get a little dark once it starts running through the transmission. It's going to wash all that other stuff that's in there, and of course, it's gonna get a little darker. So you know, it's not going to be red, you know, like perfect ever. But you know, when they put it on there, and if it's black, you know, looks like engine oil, yeah, it's time to replace transmission fluid. But now your newer cars, you know, don't even have a dipstick. Now you can't even check transmission fluid. I mean, my car doesn't have a dipstick anymore. It's a 2017, and I mean the other Toyota I had was a 2000. Was it 2009? 2009. That one still had a dipstick. I forget what year it was when they stopped having dipsticks. You know, so now the transmission fluid, basically they drain it all completely and then refill it, and it's every 90,000 miles. You know, I already did that on mine, and then the motor flush also. Get all the antifreeze out, put new antifreeze in it. The hoses, you know, depending how old they are, if they get spongy. But I'll be right back. Don't go away. Hey, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. Who's in here? Who's in here?
Let's see who's in here. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. Andrew, what's up, Andrew? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so you have to be careful because some businesses they only go by mileage. I mean, even one time I took my Toyota to the dealer, to get an oil change, and then it's so funny because I had already I replaced the fan belt on my own. I mean, I did once some of these cars are getting more and more difficult, but then now when I did on my own, and I bought the belt at the dealership to replace it, and it's funny because I go in for the oil change, and then the service guy comes back and goes, oh, by the way, your serpentine belt, it needs to be replaced. It's bad. It's all cracked. I'm like, it's all cracked. What do you mean it's all cracked? I'm like, I mean, because I did it myself, so, and I bought it from them. I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? Oh yeah. It's all cracked. Oh, like, I think you better double check. Have your guy have his eyes checked because guess what? I just replaced that, and in fact, I bought it from you guys. So it's like, no, I don't think so. So always check. Tell them to show you the part. Go. Hey, well, show me where you said that they're bad. The brakes are bad or the tires are bad. Tell them, show me. Go. They'll take you out to the shop. Show them. Look. See that. See. This is where it's at. Don't take everything. Don't take their word for it. It's just like when you go to the doctor and he says, you need brain surgery. And you're feeling good. Why do I need brain surgery? Get a second opinion. You never know. Some doctors are wrong. You know. Well, thanks a lot for everybody came in and have a good one. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're at. God bless everybody. Until next time, have a good one. And always, like I said, like he says, call your mama, tell her you love her, because you don't know how long she'll be around. God bless everybody. Till next time. Bye.